Narcissistic people, they will weaponize the love that you have for their children against you. It's like they use the love that you have for your children to use you, to take advantage of you, to get supply from you. And then when you finally wake up to the abuse that they are putting you through, then they try to weaponize you even more by keeping those children away from you because they know how much you love them. This is why narcissists are sick, bro. Because they know how much you love their children, how much you care for them, and the bond and connection that you share with them. And they use that to their advantage to keep you around so that they can keep you more susceptible to their abuse. They use the children to suck you in, to take advantage of you, to use you. And then at the same time, when you awaken to the abuse, then they want to weaponize it by keeping those children away from you, because they're like, if you want to be around these children, then you have to be around me, and if you don't want to be around me, then you can't be around these children. And they want to, deprive you of that relationship that you have with those children because they know how much you love them. And this can happen in any form, in any fashion. And it's difficult because when you know that you've created such a strong connection with the child that you really love, and then because their parent is a narcissist and you don't want to be around them, it's like, that in order for you to have peace, that you have to stay away from that narcissist. And that also means that you have to stay away from their children as well. You have to create distance from the entire family as a whole, as a unit. And it's hurtful. It's very difficult when narcissistic people want to do this. And it's even more hurtful when these people are family members. And the same time, it's like they used you to help love on their children when they needed you. But when you need the child's love in any type of way or fashion, then they want to keep that away from you as a way to further abuse you and ostracize you and just make you feel like you are not as important. Or they will basically, like, a way that they know how to abuse you. When family members do this, they will keep, their children away from you to isolate you, and then basically try to bring up some random excuse or something that's not even, just bring up some random excuse as to why they're keeping you away from their children. Like, it's because you're horrible, it's because you have this, and you're not bringing that energy around to me and my family or whatever. When they know for a fact that it's your pureness, your energy that really loves those children, that really helps those children and heals those children. And what they probably don't want to admit is that they probably feel some type of way that the bond and connection that you share with their children does not match what they have with their children. Like, it's one thing to have an attachment to a parent, but it's another thing when you have a bond that you've created with a child. And sometimes parents can see that you, the family member, the relative, the aunt, the uncle, has such a strong relationship with their children that they don't have. And having you around their children is too triggering for them, because they're like, how do you have such a strong bond with them when this child, we created this child? That child came out of me. I birthed that child, or that child came from my seed. But how is it that you have a stronger relationship or bond and connection with them? It's because of the connection in the heart. When you have a lot of love in your heart and you are able to love on that child and really pour into them, it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing when a child really loves you, really takes to you, really wants you. Like, when they're in distress, they run to you, they go look for you. And for people to note that connection and that bond is there and to intentionally keep that away from you says a lot about a person. And you have to be a very shitty, fucked up type of person to do that. I've had to create distance from my nieces because of the issues that are going on between their parents, which is my brother and my sister-in-law. The two of them are in cahoots against me. And by me having to, it had to get to a point where I had to choose something. It was like, if I were to choose my nieces, then I would choose the abuse, because I would have to have a relationship with their parents and, sacrifice my own mental health, my own peace, and invalidate my feelings and my experiences, and brush how I've been treated and mishandled and used and abused, and have to just sweep that under the rug just so I can have a relationship with my nieces and have them in my life. Eventually, it got to a point where it was taking too much of a mental and emotional toll on me to put up with that abuse, and just to bypass everything that, to continue to be the bad guy, continue to play the role of the scapegoat, to continue to be the one to always make amends and apologize when I'm not getting any type of apologies, or people are not, acknowledging the hurt that they have caused me, when people are constantly lighting the match and burning the bridge with me, but they're blaming me for the bridge being burned, when it's like, sweetie, you lit the match. You burned that bridge. And sometimes when a person burns a bridge with me, I let that shit burn so that they can know you're the one that caused it. And when that bridge is already burning, sometimes I'll light that bridge and burn it some more, because it's already burning. It's already rickety. It's already rocky if I try to cross this bridge. And if I try to cross this bridge, I may fall. I may hit rock bottom if I try to fall and hit rock bottom. And I'm not willing to do that. So what we have to do is we have to completely burn this bridge. We'll have to just burn it. And we'll just find another way to cross over. If I have to rebuild a bridge another way, I'll do so, because it may not be with them. Distance does make the heart grow fonder. And I'll even admit, there are times when my mental health was really bad, and I was around my nieces, and my mental health, my autistic burnout affected them. And I have so much regret and guilt for times that I, snapped on them, or lost my temper on them, or I misunderstood situations. I read a situation wrong, or I did not handle the situation in the best possible way. I have, guilt and regret that I live with, that I just work through. And I'm not even a parent yet, so I can't even imagine how a parent feels. But it feels like my relationship with my nieces is kind of like giving me practice and training ground for when I have my own children later on in life, when it's my time to have children. I'm only in my 20s right now, so I have time, Lord willing. I know God is intending for me to be a mother. And I know that what it helps me to realize is that I want to give my children a better version of me, a more healed, a more evolved version of me. I don't want to give my children the version that I am right now, because I want to give them a better version of me. I want to give them a more stable, more grounded version of me, one that can be more emotionally available and present. Because there are times when I'm barely able to be emotionally present for myself in my own life. So how can I let alone do that for another human being? And as much as I love my nieces, I knew for a fact that I did have to take some space and take a break from them so that I can get myself together, because I felt that at times, because of what I was dealing with and because of the tension that was caused between my brother and my sister-in-law and I, that a lot of that energy would sometimes just lash out. And if the parents aren't around, if I'm watching children, it's gonna affect the child, and it's not fair to them. And stuff like that can happen at times. Or sometimes it's best to kind of keep some distance, because I felt like I was hurting my nieces more with my presence. So that I had to step away to get myself together, so that when I do see my nieces again, that I'm not in that energy anymore. But a lot of that plays a role when there's a lot of drama going around. A lot of that can happen. So sometimes it's best to just create distance, to heal yourself, and to come back when God allows it to to not fight but flow.